the talk is called An Invitation to Look Elsewhere, the new aesthetic as ideology. And so what I try to lay out is actually the new aesthetic as a new way of perception and as an understanding how to look at things. You will have the pleasure to talk or to listen to some topics in the next minutes and hours. It's cultural practices on the web, the new aesthetic, and it's the effects of digital culture on design thinking. And at the end we will talk about the term post-internet, hippie-esque cyborg fantasy. So these are quite some terms I'm putting out here, but you will see it's all actually things you already know. So my proposition is the contemporary imagery on the social web shows through its self-referential qualities the critical potential of visual culture nowadays. So what does this mean? Let's see if these distractive elements of the new aesthetic, which we will see shortly, can bring an understanding of how do we live in and or understand technology today. So let's focus on the participative idea of the digital culture and see if the new aesthetic can be a legitimate ideology like a Weltanschauung or something in Germany. So what does it mean again? The term new aesthetic, coined by James Bridle, he's my age, like early 30. He coined it in 2012, and it appeared to me always as a quite undefined one. For sure, the computational aspect of it is quite strong. But it is more about the coming together of the physical and the digital we are living in. So if we see the Google picture search of the new aesthetic, which you see in the background, it is a minimal symbol of the pixel which stands for it as the strongest and the simplest. Also, an early logo refers to the pixel, which seems, of course, pretty outdated in a time of retina displays. At the same time, the pixel might stand as a metaphor to look below the surfaces and screens. Next to lots of squares and pixels on buildings and sweatshirts, the glitch effect, digitale Störungen, zum Beispiel Buffering-Störungen beim Laden von Videos, appears quite often and show how the relation to the digital, again. Not to ignore, actually, here also on this picture search, cats and popular memes which appear also. And the whole search about the new aesthetic, it looks quite poppy. It's picture material we already quite used to, especially in a media art context. So what I think is actually that the new aesthetic is quite a mainstream term. It's for a broad public to show our life through technology and the merging of online and offline, an all-encompassing structure. The new aesthetic lays also down its crowdsourced power. The visual material is mostly free to access and also free to share. Maybe a little bit too risky to claim, but it seems to me that the universal easiness of the lolcats phenomena, like the lolcats which we know from the internet, is transferred by Bridle to the technological world. Everybody is connected. That means, easier to say, when pop art was an answer to the new age of advertising and capitalism, the new aesthetic could be described as an answer to our life on the web and its cultural, social, and political consequences. So this is the new pop art. This is how I received the term and its development, no matter what the art discourse said and what we will learn later from Michelle. The new aesthetic is an invitation to look at technology to which we are connected, trying to fold out the structures behind it. So, the participative structure of the web gives the new aesthetic idea a proper background. And that's why we should talk about Tumblr. So it's unavoidable to discuss Tumblr, the most popular blog with, which focuses only on pictures, pure visual material. Tumblr is a micro-blogging platform and offers latest social networking features. Tumblr counts 180 million blogs on the world. Very easy to install. You choose your blog design from hundreds of templates called themes. You can follow other blogs, share the pictures of others on your own blog, which is called reblogging, or comment on pictures by just liking them, of course. The topics Tumblr blogs dealing with are quite heterogeneous, but there's a broad understanding of showing technology linked to our life. But it doesn't come from a scientific direction, actually. It's more or less the everyday life usage of all sorts of electronic devices. Technology as a proper prosthesis, as also already Marshall McLuhan said. Also, don't forget, Tumblr users are young, 24/7 hours online, very aware of computational developments. The endless scroll of Tumblr blogs just tell us about the hunger for imagery, the self-identification and representation over pictures. So what you see in the background are like really iconic Tumblrs, the combination of several pictures next to each other, which kind of have mostly similar topics, which we are discussing now. When we are talking about self-identification, there's this one Tumblr blog I saw on my research, and on the top you can see, "Hi, my name is Julia. I live in Rio, Brazil. Hope you enjoy my blog." So this is how young teenagers actually identify themselves, like over a blog. This is how they dress more or less online. So I compiled a selection of pictures, all originally from Tumblr, which shows the broader field of the new aesthetic. So, and I separated them in different categories. There's a really strong focus on technological super devices. That means we see through the eyes of devices, and as the new aesthetic claims already. And it's picture material from Google Earth or Google Street View, but supposedly it's the material that searches for distraction and surreal moments. So as you can see here, this is really surreal stuff actually. You don't see this on the street. Trying to fight the idea that the aura, doesn't have any power in the digital world. So this is the question, doesn't it exist in the digital? Another topic these Tumblrs dealing with is technology in daily life. So here, pictures show strange innovations of technology. Digitalization gets tangible while the computer gets invisible. And this is also the materialization we just talked about, actually, and I think Michelle also focuses quite more. So here on the pictures you see the camouflage has a digital square pattern, the face detection of the mobile detects a statue which is 1,000 years old, or the robot hand. So this is a really kind of a fetish on technology. Talking about fetish, there's also this theme, topic I would say, called hyperreality, 3D fetish, nostalgia. And this is where the borders are not clear anymore. Reality and fantasy merge together. Is it a rendering on the top? Is it on the rendering on the bottom right, or is it real? And especially the 3D technology undergoes a big revival in the last year, supported by 3D printer developments. At the same time, an ongoing nostalgia for old and obsolete devices and aesthetics is bringing back the retro moment, for sure. So here on the back you see also the sculpture from John Raffman, and it's in the middle, the gray one. And this is a 3D printing. So this is a really big thing in young contemporary art, bringing actually the digital into the world, to the real life. A next topic, which is also pretty interesting, I think, is mythology of capitalism and advertising. So similar to technology in daily life, there are many pictures dealing with the global commercialization, which is happening, the most recognizable on the web. This understanding of the global village is reflected quite often. Pictures of strange cultures from Asia and Africa in a capitalism blossom are quite popular. This is just something. brand fetishism is another way to comment on this. So as you can see here on the pictures, this is like this little boy from China who has a Nike haircut, or like Justin Bieber is like wearing like anonymous masks. And like this is actually really stuff which amazes teenagers and young people and people who are on Tumblr. So they are really reflecting on what's the culture on the web and outside the web, and they're merging it together. Also, I really like the guys from India who have like this kind of temple which looks like a Facebook page. Where we are at like one of the last categorization I called like the memes, the lols. And this is of course really important on your blog to keep the humor upright and actually stimulate discourse. So more on this shortly. What I find interesting is not only the very strong technological background of all these examples, also the human touch is quite recognizable. I can feel a strive towards authorship in many works, like it's a comment on our time. So what I like to do also for preparation of my own work and design is thinking to introduce the meme probably. So I'm not sure who knows exactly about this term, so we will do this. I think it's really linked to this whole thing. The meme is a term coined by Richard Dawkins a good 40 years ago, and is defined as a unit carrying cultural ideas that evolves through natural selection, variation, mutation, competition, inheritance. So the meme is like the opposite of the gene, like die Gene. No? So as the biological gene, the meme is constantly struggling for survival. It strives for attention. It is just as dependent on communication as it's changed by them. Ganz kurz in Deutsch. Das Meme überlebt nur, wenn man darüber spricht und es sich weiter mutiert und es sich weiterentwickelt. And we all know these memes, and these are the pictures with the typeface on it. It's always mostly the white typeface. The white typeface is a black outline, and like you get this, like you get a picture, and then you put some text on it, and there are like meme generators on the web where you can generate your own meme, and this is what people really love actually. Like this is people talking about this, but memes require instant satisfaction, art requires depth. So this is Robert Jackson in this essay, The Banality of the New Aesthetic, like an answer to like the big one from, what was it, the guy again? Bruce Sterling. Yeah. So the meme now finds itself constantly on trial, like humor, lack of depth, populism, sexism, and more. At the same time, its political potential is constantly invoked as well. So here we have like the pepper spray guy. This I don't know who knows this meme, but like in America, a cop sprayed with pepper spray like on students, and it was quite big in the media. So what they did is actually they took the picture and put the guy in like several other contexts, and the whole internet was full of pictures of him. So this was like a really strong political action, and this brings us to a term which I think is really important for like the new aesthetic and also the meme. So in his essay, You Mad Bro, Wyatt Niehaus examines the structures of this form of communication and finds, above all, a lack of any substantial form of hierarchy. So Niehaus is drawing on Hakim's Bay concept of the temporary autonomous zone. It's a short-lived utopian place that evades the traditional dynamics of law and hierarchy. it is precisely places such as these that offer fertile ground for design practice that can and want to follow different rules. These places are made for letting images speak, giving words a visual gestalt, like a form. And this is where the memes are. Like, they are in an autonomous zone. You can put every text on it what you want. You can really say what you want on these pictures. And of course, this is what all the people, like all the politicians all around the world are really frightening, because you can see it maybe even in Turkey at the moment. Why jokes and why now? Here's why. Jokes are low budget. Governments in the world over are fortifying themselves against their own citizen, and most of all against their jokes. But jokes easily pass through the walls of the fortresses. The joke is an open source weapon of the public, says Meta Haven, and can jokes bring down governments? So the meme culture is very strong. And coming to my first work, it's for the issue of Transmediale 2013, which is called BWP, WAP, it's better in English, I think. So this acronym means actually back when Pluto was a planet. And the whole festival was about recontextualization and shifting different contexts in new directions, meaning Pluto got disqualified from the planet status to the dwarf planet because he didn't measure any rules.
Changed.
Yeah, standards. So so this is like a recontextualization of a state, and what I imagined to draw some similar line on the digital culture is actually the meme, because on the meme functions really similar. You take a picture, put your typeface on it, and you put it in a new context. So the whole layout is based on this typo, which you saw already, which is the italic, the impact font, the white font with the black outline. And also we changed the pictures, which you normally know, like before, after, we changed it to after, before. So the focus is on before. So before Pluto was a planet. Like the design is a combination of lots of archives which are used for this, and like putting them in strange combinations with typefaces and trying to make a weird feeling of time and space, actually, I think. And the whole concept, like the whole book, which is here, actually with a meme from myself. Actually, I put another meme on this, but like the whole thing is like super referential, and it references all the time internet culture. So we have like here the TLDR, like too long, didn't read, so which is like what you say if the email is too long. So this is something you either don't look at. And this is what the play is about on the internet. It's always about references. Here, like it says, this book is not to be taken from the library, means also it reflects actually already on his like being archived somehow. And maybe the nicest feature of it is the like what you see in the background is like this effect, which goes in like both sides, and it says, at first I was like, but then I was like. And this refers to another meme on the internet, which is, at first I was like gangster, but then I was like leisure show or whatever. So like this Transmediale concept was really based on this meme culture, like putting as much as references as possible on the design and bringing up a lot of narratives through that. And there's also like this researching newspaper for Transmediale, and we actually did a similar way. The new aesthetic is also trying. We took the format of the mobile, and we generated a grid for the newspaper in this format of an iPad or an iPhone. So as you can see here in the background, like the columns all like have exactly the width and the height of an iPhone. And this generates a really special rhythm how to read it. And how to, so you have always the breaks and you have like little symbols in this which distract the whole rhythm, like the loading bar or other elements like the swipe finger. Or we referenced also the smudge effects, like when you have like a dirty glass. So also here, like lots playing with references all the time, which is really coming from the background of the meme culture on the web. A project which is maybe a little bit more actually about the technological super devices which I talked about, like the Google Street View. It's a project I did with my students together from Metz Academy in Stuttgart. And like as Google Street View was launched in Germany, we had like this issue with privatism and like, okay, you can unsharp your home if you don't want to be on Google Street View. So what the students did actually in the most richest area in Stuttgart is, because there are the most unsharp pictures, because nobody wants to see how the big villa looks like. So they took all these images, like all these buildings from the rich area, and made more or less the invisible visible, and the other ones, like the sharp ones, they took out. So this is the video, introduction video.
Hello, are you scared of Google? Whatever, we would like to introduce you to Ghost Town. We were fascinated by the launch of Google Street View. So the idea was to check out all 3 houses of Stuttgart. Interestingly, most of them are located at Kilburg, where the bold and beautiful live. We start to build our own ghost town with them. And now look at us. We are getting rich too. Go.
So what they actually, they built this map with these houses, and won actually some prizes with this work. And what is really nice is this gallery of these houses, and if you go on it, you can see Birkenwaldstraße 183, Birkenwaldstraße 187. So they played this game pretty well, actually. So this is Ghost Town. So let's talk about the effects of digital culture, which I introduced, let's say I introduced a little bit at least, on design thinking. So what does it mean for the idea we have of design, and what does it mean for me as a professional designer, how I try to make my job now. And to discuss the influences of design and art, I selected 3 topics, rather developments, to underline also the conceptual idea of the new aesthetic, and why probably James Bridle wants to see it more as an ideology and in practice rather than an aesthetic, actually. Because it says the new aesthetic, but it's not so much about the aesthetic, I would say. Maybe Michelle disagrees. So point 1 is sensitization through democratization. So Sensibilisierung für Design, more or less. By involving yourself into a designed world, you automatically learn how to design. The democratization of design culture is happening through accessible design tools. A knowledge of and sensibilisierung to design and its role in our lives is now attended by know-how in visual grammar and individual practical design experience. So we are used to make decisions in design. This awareness leads to the skill to deconstruct also much easier visual codes and express ideas. So the possibility to appropriate and use visual imagery to formulate criticism is better as ever before. So speaking, for example, about Apple. So here you see all these crazy people standing in line to get into this Apple shop. So Apple was always the other trade. It was always the different. This was the claim actually, be different or something like this. So Apple is not different anymore, and Apple offers every kind of design tool on the system. You can make videos, you can like design your music, pictures, whatever. So design became people's sport, everybody's fetish, everybody's doing this. The demystification of design software is now more or less complete. So this is one development which is underlying the whole new aesthetic. And the other one is self-design and design strategies. So Boris Greuß writes about self-designing in 2008. By designing oneself and one's environment in a certain way, one declares one's faith in certain values, attitudes, programs, and ideologies. And a young author like Brad Trommel, for example, he defines the user, like the Facebook user, as a creative director actually conducting his own online brand marketing. So meaning here, for example, this guy, Derek Collins, I don't know him, but he is supposed to be really creative because he played with the format of the Facebook profile. So you have two pictures, the background picture and the picture where he has his face. So this is the profile picture, the other one is the wall picture, and he combined the whole, both of them. So this is like design strategy actually, like playing with the limitation. And talking about the limitation, bottom up versus top down. So Olja Lialina says, like a pioneer also of web culture, the general purpose user can write an article in their email client, lay out their business card in Excel, and shave in front of a webcam, what you can see here. So this guy is shaving in front of a webcam, which is maybe even pretty difficult because it's maybe left or right alignment, it's not so good. So this is an interesting development in this culture as well, because we have like this bottom-up development, which means like we have lots of users who are really aware of all these tools we have and all these machines, but also we have top-down movement, which means like Apple, Google, they set the standards and they set the templates. So this is like a clash which is also which you can also see in actually on an aesthetical way. So for example, if you put now a picture of me and the background here, it will be quite still unsharp. But at the same time, you put it up on your blog, it will be unsharp, nobody cares actually, you're quite used to it. But Apple, the presentation of Apple on their website, this is super slick, it looks like hyper-reality. And what is interesting is that these things are discussed on Tumblr blogs from both ends. So you have like this super commercial world, which people are really excited about, but then you have the DIY aesthetics. People just take pictures all the time. And this clashes in Tumblr blogs, and I think this is this bottom-up versus top-down clash actually. This is also something which I think underlies the new aesthetic idea actually, like this lo-fi versus hi-fi. So what is the conclusion, like talking about design thinking, like about design and how new aesthetic is linked to design? And there's a statement of Helen Armstrong, and it says, users increasingly approach design with the expectation of having to fill in the blanks and actively insert content. So that means you are quite used to insert content and make your own design actually. Like it's not about waiting or something, you go for it. If you have a question, you ask Google because Google knows everything. So this is the same attitude you have like with design. And so I think that Armstrong is getting this quite right. What the visual culture nowadays significantly defies is the participative approach of it. Okay, so I show some work which I made for a show in Brooklyn, and it's called The Cosmic Dancer. And The Cosmic Dancer, actually, it comes from a Nietzsche actually quote, and Nietzsche says that the philosophers envy, the philosophers envy, or envy, do you say envy? Envy the dancers because they are so movable and they are so flexible. And der Philosoph, der, das weiß ich nicht auf Deutsch, beneidet den Tänzer, genau, die Flexibilität. So this is the topic, and what I try to have is actually like the really same flexible approach to the whole thing, meaning my research is the work more or less. So this is maybe the video, like this is Shiva, like also called the cosmic dancer in the Indian mythology. So this spread here shows several elements again, and similar to maybe the transmediali reference overkill, and but here a little bit more different because it's like more heterogeneous material. And what I think is the future of design a little bit is that people are aware of how to look at things and how to get involved in the design and catching out little references and making a storyline out of this. So it has lots of access points. And this is another spread. So a quite actually like postmodern, but with the advantage that you have actually all the sources nowadays. Because in the 80s, postmodern was still something, you want a picture of this and that, and you can't have it because you don't have the source. It's not possible. Nowadays, you are connected with the whole world. So this is quite interesting. And so closing more or less that a term which is called post-internet. And to end the reflection about the new aesthetic and the influences of the design, and like my idea of the new aesthetic of how to see and to look at things, I would like also to refer to an even more popular concept, actually, the post-internet term. And Marisa Olsen and Katja Novickova are both kind of coined for this invention in 2010, so 2 years before Bridal cooked up the new aesthetic thing. So post-internet treats the internet as something natural, essentially giving. It's post-internet, it's something which is after the internet. The internet is given, it's natural. And it legitimizes work in this medium and its self-referentialism. So Novickova says, the collective practice of internet-aware blocking and art has been evolving a new language to imagine, anticipate, engage with the descanting reality and its horizons. So it's pretty much what Bridal says, but this is before. And so the images that Novickova, with post-internet, cites as example, are hybridizations of nature-related mythology references and affirmative fetishistic references to technology phenomena. So it's a combination. So Natur und Technologie. This clash is evidence, so to speak, of a futuristic gesture, faith in technology, a postmodern dystopia attitude, hyperreality and the downfall of humanity, and a romantic irony. And so this is what you see in the background a little bit, this picture of family, very hippie-esque kind of clothes, dreadlocks, and then also the symbols of Facebook thumb on this tissue. So what the term post-internet also start to emphasize is that the human gets back to the center of discussion. It's post-technology, so HD, high definition off, it's a term. So it's more about how to treat ourselves with the possibilities of the digital nowadays. And in this tension of thinking about human needs and mega technology access, like the both ends again, the visuals of the last transmediale gets maybe a little bit interesting, because they also refer to this Tumblr aesthetics quite a lot. And so the last transmediale was, the topic was afterglow, and it searched exactly like this moment after the revolution. So it says on the flyer. Oops, so I have here some stuff. Anyways, so the afterglow artwork, which you see on the screen or here in real life, I wanted to bring this because of this glossy hyperreal cover as well, is based on stock images, which is also quite popular on Tumblr blogs, and it combines the stock imagery, beautiness, with like kind of this afterglow, like this mood of the afterglow, and like technology. So maybe this spread here, which is the other one, makes it a little bit more clear. So we have like the literal afterglow on the right hand side of this building in, I think it's Singapore. No, yeah, I think it's Singapore. This hotel and the wasteland in the background. Then next to it, like a Google server picture. Like this is how Google servers look. And on the left-hand side, this lotus flower from a spa. And this is what the term post-internet actually tries to describe a little bit. It's where at which point is the human at the moment in the development of technology and his own idea of life, actually. So it plays a lot with this hippie-esque mythologies, actually. And it plays also with the idea of materialization again. So this is a tablet, actually, like really literal, a tablet. And it says, how do you feel today? So also like this claim, how do you feel today, which we used as well here on like this train station, for example, it really asks you, what do you want? It's like really offensive kind of. And at the same time, it's very advertisement. So we're playing kind of the game of the big players, Microsoft, but there's like a dark side below it. You see here, this is also the combination of the pictures. This is quite Tumblr-like, like always below each other. So after this,
I have one question. Is there a meaning with these Arabic letters? Is there a meaning behind it? Or is it just a design?
No, it says the afterglow in Arabic.
Okay.
But the idea is, of course, as I was flying quite a lot with Qatar lately and Emirates, I was always very fascinated about like flight magazines. And like the super commercial appearance of flight magazines. So what this magazine, also from the inside, if you see maybe this page, tries to be is a little bit like this flight magazine, which also refers a lot of beautiness and like really super clean and So there's a link also from the from Arabian to like the super rich flight magazines. And also the website, it looks very sophisticated, like an Apple website. But this is very designy, and I think I end my presentation with the trailer for the Transmediale Festival, which is maybe a really good example of Tumblr, post-internet, and the like the human in the tension of several forces.
Thank you, Manuel.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.